there, retro gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Game Overcast. My name is David KAELIN, and I am the Game Over CEO. And I'm joining you today for episode 2 of the new season 14 for 2022. And also, just right off the bat, just to show you how tired, I guess, I was this morning, or cold it is, or whatever. Normally I print up notes, for me to use on the show. And I have two colors. I have like the main kind of sections in black, and then I write the content that I want to add in red. And that way, when I'm doing this, it helps me to not look all the time. I can just glance down at just the highlighted, in red stuff. And so apparently my printer is out of red ink. So all my notes the first time printed up just like, yeah. So did you get that? And that's the show for this week.
All the headlines.
Yeah. So anyway. That was fun. So that was my wake up this morning. Plus, Dan parked all the way across the parking lot. So it was a really weird morning. I couldn't figure that out. There were open spaces up front, but he parked way out there. I don't know. Okay. But anyway, starting the show, first off, I've still got the ear bandaged up. But like we talked about on the show last time, it's all taken care of now. I'm cancer-free, so yay me. So now it's just, the healing process. And so I'll have bandages, sounds like, for about a month or two on there. I think after about a month and a half, I should be able to go down from the full thick white gauze, this kind of setup that I have right now, to just a normal Band-Aid. That'll hopefully be flesh toned, so it'll match my color better. But it's done. It's good. I got yesterday my stitches and staples out on the chest and on the ear, so everything it's all me now. So new and improved, bigger, better, stronger, faster, and with an ear. So yeah, back to normal there. So that's all good news. So I'm ready to go on the show. I've got my notes in a new blue font, so that's nice. I had blue ink in the printer, so that's good. And we got the new set. We got some compliments on the new set on the last show, so thank you for that. And let's get started with level 1 and see what's going on in current events. What's going on in the world of gaming these days? In national news, or global news, I guess, it's been reported that Sony is going to be making electric cars. So that's cool. A report came out on CNN on the 5th of January that they were at the Consumer Electronics Show and showed off. They did an electric car a couple years ago, I guess, as like a prototype, and now they've enhanced that, and it's not quite production ready yet, but it looks like they are going to move forward, and they're going to be putting out an electric car. So you could literally drive your PlayStation around pretty soon. So like a drive station. I don't know, but it's cool. It's obviously going to have some kind of connectivity to PlayStation and PlayStation Network. So hopefully they won't get into trouble like Tesla with people playing their PlayStation while they're in self-driving mode, rolling down the highway at 70 miles an hour. So we'll see, but pretty cool. I know Apple has been rumored to be making a car also. The whole auto industry, it's strange because now that everything is going electric, and Sorry. Yes. But I mean, the cars are, they're going to electric for power. They're having even the dashboard and all the gauges and everything. It's all just like touch screens and everything inside the car. So basically, when you think about it, that kind of makes sense, right? Like cars are becoming a consumer electronic item and not so much a big, device, device isn't the right word. But like a appliance or a factory produced transportation thing, it's more just like another piece of your entertainment life that is going to have wheels and go down the highway.
I can't wait for history to fall back on itself in like 50 years when they're going to be like new internal combustion engine.
Yeah.
Vintage, like they make new ones because it's.
They have had the electric technology for like 100 years. They used to have like electric trolleys in the early 1900s and stuff. Yeah.
Because now having something that looks vintage is like cool.
Mm-hmm.
So in 50 years.
Yeah.
They're gonna resell us internal combustion.
You mean it burns a fluid? What?
Wow.
That sounds dangerous.
I want one.
That'll never last. So electric cars, the hot new consumer electronics item, soon to be sold at a Best Buy store near you. So yeah, so good luck to a PlayStation, and let's hope that none of us die in the crashes while people are playing. Also reported recently that Mario Kart 9 is in development. So that's cool. That's one of the most popular franchises of all time from back in the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom days. They've made Mario Karts for just about every generation. And really, I guess they haven't for Switch, because the one on Switch is more just like a remake of the Wii U one. But anyway, they're supposed to be working on a new one, so hopefully we'll get more news and maybe a trailer or tease or some info on that coming soon. But I don't think it's going to release this year, but it's leaking that they're working on it. So that's big news. So let's go into more retro gaming news. So it's been also reported recently that Battletoads action figures are coming out. So everybody loves that classic game. There's the whole joke about people calling stores, and yes, they do it to our stores from time to time too, asking, "Do you have Battletoads?" And sometimes we do, which is cool. But now they're making Battletoads action figures. So it's really cool. It's a company called Big Bad Toys, and so you can definitely check their website. It's bigbadtoystore.com. They look really cool. They have pictures up, and you can pre-order and stuff like that, but they're a little bit pricey. So they go from $44 to $149 each. Yeah. So and if you want the complete set, that's $429. So that's a lot of money. That's a pretty hard thing to wrap my head around. Spending that much money, but oh well. For some people, I guess it would look really cool on your shelf in your game room. I don't know. It seems like it'd be easier just to finish the game. Let's see. Yeah. Also, another retro news, Arcade 1-Up. We talked about them last week. The like 3/4 size arcade units that they sell in like Sam's and Costco and places like that. I think GameStop even has them. And they've sold really well. They've sold 3 million of them. They sold tons because everybody is all about setting up the game room, the man cave, the garage, having their whole game collection on display and putting a couple of those arcades in there. So they're coming out this year with Pro units. So the only knock on them to this point has been that because they're 3/4 size, they're a little small, and some of the buttons and the components are a little cheaper, than old school arcade units. But the Pro units are going to be Pro level. So it'll be about $1,000, but they're going to have like official arcade style monitors and joysticks and buttons and they're going to be full size. So not 3/4 size or half size. They're going to be like an actual 1980s arcade size. So those are coming later this year. So look forward to that. I know I asked on the last show if we should carry those at Game Over, and got a little bit of feedback, that would be a good idea. So maybe we'll look into that. I don't know. It's kind of a big ticket thing to get at a game store, though. I don't know how many Game Over customers are coming in and drop $1,000 and have a truck or something to take a Arcade 1-Up home, but we'll see. So we'll look into that. Another news, Logan Paul. I thought this was pretty funny. I'm not a Logan Paul fan. He's a online celebrity, but he got into trouble. He was making a table and he glued old Game Boys together, and people got mad that he was basically like wasting the the vintage parts of the Game Boys to do that. And so of course Nintendo fans were outraged at this, but it's just a table, so I don't find it a big deal. I hope he found broken ones to do that, but yeah, I just thought it was funny that it caused this big uproar. Like, how dare you glue a Game Boy to a table? Do you know how many people have modded Nintendos and Game Boys and made them into all kinds of things over the years? Anyway, moving on. Now this is cool. A German musician called Remute has put out an N64 music album that's playable on N64. It's electro pop techno type music. Of course, there's no German stereotypes there. Let's see, and it's generated and played back on an actual N64 console. So, way to go, Germany!
I want this. Where is it?
I don't know. I didn't actually put down where you can get it, but he's called Remute, so you can find it. I guess on YouTube you can see the video on the device. But I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I know people have done MIDI music albums and things on NESs and Super NESs for years, but apparently this is the first one on N64, so should be pretty cool. So check him out for that. And that's it for level 1 on the state of gaming news. So now let's go on to level 2 and see what's happening at your local Game Over video game store. And we're back with Level 2, the company info. What's happening at your local Game Over Video Game store this month? Sale-wise, we've got sales every week, as usual. From January 14th through 20th, we're doing 50% off strategy guides. So if you can't get through one of those old retro games, definitely check near the front of all of our Game Over stores. We keep strategy guides for sale, and we're doing 50% off all of them for that week. But you do have to have a coupon to get the 50% off. So you have to either be on our email list and show, like on your phone, a digital copy of the coupon, or you can print out the coupon on your printer at home, bring it in on paper. Or if you don't have that, you can sign up for our email list, and then you'll get the discount, in the store. But you do have to be a member of the email program. So it doesn't cost any money. You don't have to buy a magazine. It's just free and easy. All we need is your email address. You get emails from us once a month, and it lets you know when sales and events are coming up. And sometimes the sales like this are just coupons where only email people get it, only email people can use it, and so you want to be an email people too. So you can do that. After that, if you're watching the show a little after that time frame, the next sale is January 21st to 27th. That's going to be a gamer gear sale. What that means is all of our non-gaming stuff. So it's all the swag, the plushies, the toys, action figures, collectibles, pop figures, any of that kind of stuff that we have. It's all 20% off. That one is available online and in stores. Online, you use the code GEARSALE20. So GEARSALE 20 on the website, gameovervideogames.com, and all that stuff's 20% off. And then in the stores, it's normally like a section either in the front of the stores or in the middle section where it's all kind of grouped together, and that stuff will all be 20% off. So check that out for sales. Let's see, another Game Over news. The Houston store relocation is well underway. It's doing really well. I was there last week and actually shot some video that's going to be part of our feature section coming up. So you will get to see how that store is coming along. The new location is going to open on Saturday, January 15th, which is right after this show goes live on the internet. So I will be there for the store opening, and we'll get everything moved in and set up over the next couple days. I'm literally leaving right after filming this show to go down there and move the rest of the store over the next few days, and we'll be ready for the weekend traffic. And so, yeah, really excited. It's always fun to open a new store, even if in this case it's just really like shifting one store down to a different spot in the shopping center. It's still fun. I love setting stores up from scratch, doing the merchandising again, and just kind of seeing it with all new eyes. It's a fun experience for me. I'm a marketing business person at my heart, and so I always look at that as like a new opportunity to improve on everything that we've done up to that point. So it's a fun kind of clean slate for me. Game Overcast news. We're not doing a show next week. Sorry. But that's going to be one of the weeks that we have to miss. And I'm sorry it's so early in the season to have to miss one. But I am completely out of town next week between the Houston store setup and some other urgent family stuff that I have to attend to. I'm just literally traveling all week. I'll be gone all week. There's no way for me to film a show or do anything. So sorry. But we will be back. And once I get my vocal cords straightened out, we'll be back the next week with another show, and hopefully I'll have more Houston footage from the opening, and I can show that on the feature section on that show. So that'll be like part 2. But so next week you just have to play some games or something during the time you would normally watch this show. Throw in Mario Brothers for me. All right. Let's see. And also that next show, it might not air until Friday. I'm going to actually talk to Dan about that, too. Because of the travel, I don't know if we'll even be able to get it on the air Thursday morning like we normally do. It might be Thursday evening or Friday morning. But it's coming. End of January, the next show. Upcoming events, we just had the Super Retro Challenge retro tournaments in the Game Over stores just recently for January, and the next ones will be in February. It's the second Saturday of every month, so that'll be Saturday, February the 12th, and that's at 5 of our tournament stores, the one in Bellevue, Washington, the one in Arlington, Texas, the one in South Austin, the one in Selma, just north of San Antonio, and the one in Houston on 1960, kind of on the northwest side. So those will all be doing events in February. If you want to see what games they are, what times it starts, stuff like that, look at their Facebook pages, the local pages. And come out. They're totally free. So, nothing to lose, everything to gain. You'll gain friends. You might win a prize. Have fun. It'll be a fun thing to do in February. Let's see. Classic Game Fest news. Tickets are on sale now. So just so you know, believe it or not, we're getting to about 6 months out from Classic Game Fest. So we're halfway there. So buy your tickets now. If you have any friends that are interested or into retro gaming, please share the link and the info. ClassicGameFest.com has all the information there. The schedule and the guests haven't been updated yet, but at least you can see on the front page, see the video from last year, the trailer, see what it's all about, see how many people come to this thing. There's a lot of like local swap meet retro type events, community level ones that are awesome. But this is statewide. This is even bigger than statewide. This is nationwide. It was one of the largest in the nation last year with so many not happening for COVID. But every year it's one of the top 5 in the country. It's far and away the biggest in Texas, and it's a retro gaming event that you don't want to miss if you're into classic games in general. Whether you buy them, sell them, trade them. Or just are a fan and you want to, experience it, hear the music, see the games, show it to your kids and family. It's a really fun event for the whole family. So you should definitely check that out. Vendor booths are also on sale. So if your business, your store, your company, or even your personal collection, you want to sell some stuff, get some of that extra cash. There is no other larger gathering of people that are willing to pay money for retro games than at Classic Game Fest. So if you want to sell your stuff and you want to make some money, that's the place to be. So definitely reach out about getting a vendor booth if you're interested there. Let's see. And that's all the Classic Game Fest news for now. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the feature section coming up now on the show is going to be based on the new Houston location setup. And so I have some videos that I shot there last week while I was on site doing some of the initial setup and shelving and kind of laying out the store. And then I'll be shooting more right after this show airs, and that'll air on our next show, which will be in late January. So let's go now to level 3, the feature section, and check out that hot new store in Houston, Texas. Hey there, retro gamers. David here, the Game Over CEO, and today I am standing in what is going to be the brand new Game Over video game store in downtown Houston, Texas. This is on Southwest Freeway. It's just directly across the highway from the Lakewood Church. We have a location there now that's in the same shopping center that's been there for 10 years. It's one of our best performing stores. And so now basically we're in the process of moving that store from the end of the shopping center to a place more in the middle of the shopping center. So to get hopefully a little more foot traffic. It's also a little bit smaller of a space, so it's less rent, which is good. But also just the space that we had there, it was so big. We used to do tournaments in that store and do other large events and stuff, but now most of those events are at the other 2 Houston locations. So we don't really use that space anymore. The restaurant next door to us also had been wanting to expand into our space for a long time, and we've been talking to them about that. And so it's kind of a win-win for everybody. So the restaurant's going to get more space, expanding into our old store. We're going to get a smaller store, which is more what we want. It's a better fit for us. It's better, cost efficiency for the company. And it's more of a traditional, video game store setup, right? Like most of your video game stores, they're kind of a long, skinny store. When it's too wide, like our current store is a little bit on the wide side, it leaves these spaces in the middle that, unless you fill it with stuff, it just seems kind of empty. So I think this will be a much better fit for us. So anyway, we're really excited. The build out is just completed this week. So I'm standing here today to check it all out and start moving in the first fixtures and to just kind of get the ball rolling on setting up the store. Also, as you can probably see, I've replaced my bandages on my ear, and now I have white bandages instead of flesh-colored bandages, which, as I'm looking at myself in the camera here, I can tell that's actually a much different color than I am. I'm white, don't get me wrong, but that's really white. So I guess I need more of a flesh tone, something that's a little less white. But anyway, sorry, just a little thing I was noticing in the camera here. But back to the store. So it's going to be great. So I'm starting the process today. I'm going to be moving some of the shelving from our current store over to here, all the extra shelving that's currently just sitting in the back room of the current Houston store. I'll be moving that over here. I also brought some other fixtures with me up from our headquarters in Austin. And so basically I'm going to start the process of setting shelves and laying out the store, figuring out where our counter area is going to be, where the different game sections are going to be. As with all of our stores, of course, it'll be super neat and organized, because that's my blessing and my curse, is that I'm an organizational freak. So I love that. This is actually my favorite part of my job, is setting up new stores. So, you know, if I had the money and the economy would support it, I'd open up 100 of these, because I love it. This is what makes me the happiest in my job, is building out a new store. So I get to be in my natural element here over these next couple of weeks, and I'm going to bring you along for the ride with me and show you the process along the way. So right now, as you can see, it's just an empty space. It's a long, skinny store, and so we've got 2 long walls to fill with shelves and game sections. And the way we do it at Game Over, as you may well know, is we do everything alphabetical and chronological, always. So at any of our locations, no matter how big or small or what city it's in, you can always find the games that you want very easily. Once you come into a Game Over video game store, is you can find out where it starts, look for Atari, and then everything goes from there chronologically over to the current stuff like PS4, PS5, you know, that kind of stuff. So it all makes like a circle around our stores. So pretty cool, but we'll get to see it here as it's built in the process. So today and tomorrow, I'm going to be in town here starting this setup, and I'll do these little videos along the way to show you some of the progress. But right now, this is day 1, so this is, you know, a big empty store. So let me grab the camera here and see if I can hold this. See, I do so many jobs at Game Over, I've got to be my own cameraman too sometimes. It's rough. All right, so here I'm back at the front door. So here you can see the store. It does look really skinny, doesn't it? But it's going to look packed with awesome games once we get going. So this wall, the green wall here, is going to be all the disc systems. So right here by the front door, here's the door where you come in. We'll have the more current games. So we'll have, you know, the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, you know, all that stuff going back. And then all the disc systems will be going back here. Disc system, you know, Xbox, PS2, PS1. The red wall in the back, that's going to be our consignment art area. So we do consignment art with local artists. Lots of cool stuff. So definitely at any Game Over store, check that out. In the rear of the stores, normally it's a red wall in the back, but we put all the artwork back there. It's super cool stuff. Then over here, we're going to be putting, you know, there's a Game Over museum that we like to do in some of our stores. So we're going to have one of those here, and you know, set up a little museum area, some system boxes, some cool stuff. Otherwise, everything else on this kind of yellow gold wall. Let me zoom back here. Yeah, everything under those spotlights, it's like a cool little soffit on the ceiling. But everything on this wall underneath there is going to be our behind the counter area. So this is going to be like cartridge central. This is where the classics go. And they'll all be in order. It'll be from Atari on the left down to like N64 on the right. So that'll all be behind the counter, all of our hardware and everything back there too, all the stuff that people would steal, you know, we have to put it behind the counter. And then we'll have handhelds up in the front and swag. And then we've got, here's the front of the store. So you can see the front windows, and you can see like our view out the front. So this is downtown Houston. That is Southwest Freeway out there. It's a very, very busy highway, but it's basically in downtown Houston. There's a skyscraper literally across the street. So really cool. Anyway, I love Houston. You know, we've been in this market, like I said, for about 10 years. You know, some of our highest volume stores in the company are here. It's a great city. So I'm really excited to get this move underway and get the brand new and improved Game Over Central Houston location up and running. So I'm going to let it go for now, and then I will pick up later once I have some more stuff to show you. So thanks for coming along for the ride, and be back soon. Hey there, Retro Gamers. I'm back with another update from the new Houston location in downtown Houston. Just wanted to show you a couple of other quick features of this new store that are really good for video game stores specifically, because unfortunately, this type of business does get broken into a lot. It's, you know, it's desirable, it's easy to sell type stuff. So yeah, we get hit by criminals and thieves and get broken into from time to time. But this store has some features that I highly recommend to you if you have a small business, especially a video game store, jewelry store, anything that's maybe a high theft prone business. So we haven't had one of these at our Houston store yet, but I'm excited to have this here. See if I can show you. There's a roll gate. So this rolls down. It's like like in a shopping mall. You pull that down at night. It's an extra layer of protection along the front of the store. Really cool to have, and that gives you a lot of extra protection other than just having a lock and an alarm, which of course everybody should have those. But I want to show you on the back door too. Let's go into the back room here. So in the back room, in addition to all the wires and everything like that, we've got a back door, and if you can see this, we have these like security bars. So even if somebody's like trying to pry the door open from the outside, they're not getting in. And this door, it has 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious, but this used to be a cell phone store for T-Mobile, so it's like freaking Fort Knox in here. So they have the gate out front, they have 3 bars on the back door, so there's nobody getting into this store. So I love that. So it gives us extra security, extra peace of mind, and again, regardless of what kind of business you might be in, it's an unfortunate reality that you're going to have criminals that are going to try and steal from you, break in, stuff like that. So definitely get an alarm, leave a light on at night. If you can get a roll gate in the front like that, that's great. And also security bars like this in the back are great. I love making the stores as safe as possible. And, this will be one of our more secure locations with these added security features. So just wanted to point those out, and I'll be back again with some more updates soon. Thanks. Hey there, retro gamers. Checking back with you on day 2 of the new store setup in Houston, the downtown location. We're moving it just a few doors down in the shopping center. So all day yesterday, we were shifting, just one cartload at a time of shelves and boxes and things like that back and forth. So I just want to let you know how it looks. So let's take a quick look at where we're at. I'm gonna pick this up. I'll be my own cameraman because I'm that cool. So here's the look from the front of the store. Got a little bit up on that side, just some hardware boxes just to kind of show where those sections are going to be for the cartridge stuff. And then the green side is the disc side. So we've got all the disc systems from the current, like Xbox One, PS4, all the way back. Let's see if I can walk it back here. Hey, I'm walking backwards. Watch me fall down. So then we got Wii, PS3. Make sure there's no pile of crap on the floor that I'm gonna trip over too. Let's see, 360, Xbox, PS2, and then back in the very back, we've got GameCube and PS1. So basically everything from PS1 all the way up through the current generation of disc stuff is all on this side of the store. So shelves are all set, the fixtures are in place, the grid fixtures. So now all we need is the product, and we're gonna bring that over next. So that'll be in a future update. On this side, this is going to be the behind the counter side. So we put the cartridge systems over there, and then the actual more current hardware and current controllers, stuff people would steal. We put behind the counter on that side. So everything's all set. Then in the back of the store, the red wall. On the red wall, we're going to have all the local artwork. So we've got a lot of cool consignment art, and that's actually what I'm going to set up next. So the next thing is, let's see if I can show you these, see all these tubs here. There's and there's. So we got lots of local art, and I'm going to put it on this wall right now and make it look pretty. So I will check back with you when I'm all done. Hey there, retro gamers. Back again at the end of my day on setting up the new Houston location. So here's what we have in the back of the store now for the art section. So you can check that out. That's all things designed, made by local artists. Prints on the wall over there. And then right here, we've got some other like creative, arts and crafts things, some framed art, some hats, some stickers, buttons. We're gonna even add more. We still have some at the other location still. And then over on this wall, we've got the museum. So not quite done, but at least everything is in the case. So I'll kind of give you a quick rundown here. You'll have to like slow that down and pause it to see all this. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff, and we're going to put more hardware boxes on the wall. Then we've kind of filled the behind the counter area over there. And then on this side, we're going to put all the disc games. So the big week is coming, the big move. We're going to open for business here January 15th, and we're going to be moving everything on the 13th and 14th. So get ready, more to come. So I'll get back with you soon on the next update. Thanks. And we're back with level 4, the boss battle. And today I'm going to talk about a very sensitive subject of a boss battle, pay raises and reviews. It's a painful subject. Most business owners hate to talk about this, including me. It's just not a comfortable thing to talk about money. You know, when I was a kid growing up, my parents would always, be kind of private about financial matters, and they taught me to be that way. And so, most people, I think, still, don't like talking about money that much. But it's important. It's a big part of business. It's literally one of your biggest expenses with running a business. So let's talk about it. Okay. So like for game over. So I'm going to give you our pay raises or pay ranges here. So we have part-timers and store managers. Part-timers normally about $12 to $16 an hour. Store managers about $17 to $22, depending on if they're paid by the hour or salary and where they are. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into that and where you end up. Normally you kind of start at the lower ends and then you work your way up through that process. But that's the way a job should be, right? I mean, I know there's a lot of push now, like politically and things, like nobody wants to start at the bottom. Everybody wants to start at the middle or start at the top. And, normally that's not the way it goes. You start at the bottom, you don't stay at the bottom, you work your way up, but I mean, you have to start somewhere. And then there's different levels for different jobs, different tasks, different responsibility, different, quality levels. Employees can and should make different amounts of money from each other because each employee brings a different set of skills to the table and add a different amount of value, to the business. So, and then for our business in particular, it's very different for us because we operate in 2 states, Texas and Washington. And as you may or may not imagine, those are 2 very opposite kind of areas of the country in terms of like cost of living, regulation, taxes, and all the things involved with running a business. It's by far, one of the cheapest, easiest places to operate a business in Texas, and Washington is the opposite. So it's different things for sure, and so it's hard to run a business that operates in both of those type of areas. But we try our best to be fair, in both respects. So let's see. So we talked about the different positions, job positions. So we have like part-timers that would, open, close a store, clean trades, stuff like that. The managers obviously, run the whole store. They're there practically all the time. They practically live in the stores. And then, they're going to get paid different levels for that different level of responsibility and work. But performance matters. So you do want to pay more for better employees. And the way you do that, and the way we do that here is, you start at a certain amount. You normally start low and you work your way up. And, you get evaluated every year with a review. And especially with small businesses, I think a lot of times people, they don't have time, to do reviews on employees. They don't make the effort to do a review. But I think that's important. It's an important part of running the business, of training and grooming and improving your employees by giving them that kind of feedback at least once a year with some kind of a written review that you put some thought into, and you actually honestly evaluate them on their strengths and weaknesses. And so, everybody has stuff they need to work on. It's good motivation because if you point out the weaknesses, you point them out in obviously a nice professional way, but you need to work on improving customer service skills, or you can work on improving your speed and efficiency, and whatever it is, and you kind of break that down and you discuss it with the employees, and that way they kind of see what they're doing, and where they can improve. When you divide your hours up, I always tell store managers, like if you have, say, 30 extra hours in payroll for your part-timers and you have 3 part-timers, some would say, well, I've got 3 people, I got 30 hours, I'm going to give each person 10 hours. That's the wrong way. That's the way I do not want my store managers to do that. I feel like you should give the person that's more experienced that's the harder worker, that's been there longer, that's more, someone you can count on, that doesn't call in sick, that doesn't, slack off. You want to give more hours and therefore, more pay to the employees that are more reliable. And so you should have it as like more in that scenario, it would be like 15, 10, and 5. And it's the same amount of hours, but everybody gets different. And, the person with that added experience, harder worker and stuff, they feel more rewarded that way because they're getting something in return for all that effort they're putting in. The person that gets the 5 hours is going to feel a little, maybe not as happy. And, when they say, hey, how come I only got 5 hours? Then that's a conversation with the manager of, well, I give this person more hours because, they work more. They have more availability. They get more done while they're here. And you kind of list some things off and it's like, these are things you can work to improve. And when you get to the point that you're better than them, you'll get more hours than them. And so you're constantly, you don't want to be negative. You don't want to punish, but you do want to show there's always areas for improvement. And, you then reward them as they achieve, more. So I think that's the better, more fair way to do it, and it also encourages the people that are not getting as many hours to do something to improve that situation. So that's how I would do that. Let's see. When we do reviews, we do it once a year. We have a written 1-page review. It's a scoring system on different criteria, such as customer service, attendance. Some people think they can call in sick all the time and they're going to, get the same amount of hours and pay as other people that are reliable and they show up every shift and they're earlier on time every time. And that's not the case. So we go through all the different criteria, there's sales and productivity and all those kind of things and score them. And so we do a scoring system of 1 to 5. 5 is excellent. You really can't improve much more. 1 is obviously you got a lot to improve. I hate to be negative, but if you get 1s, you're in trouble. But I do also tell the managers, and whether you're store manager, part-time employee, district manager, even myself, nobody gets all 5s. I would not give myself all 5s on the review. Everybody has stuff they can improve. Nobody is perfect. And so you can get a 5 on some things. You can be great at some things, but nobody's great and perfect at everything. So all 5s are not allowed. But that way it shows something to improve and work on for everyone. Also, you have to always be aware that different local, state, and national, pay rates and rules, apply. There's different, between Texas and Washington, I know there's different, break time, lunchtime requirements. There's different pay per hour. The minimum wage in Texas is pretty much the minimum wage, which is $7 now. So we start at 12 now, so we're much higher than that. But the minimum is 7 or $7.25. But in Washington, the minimum is $14.50 or $15 now, and so we start up there higher because that's the law up there. But those change all the time. So you have to, as a business owner, you have to always be aware of when your local areas have increased. They're either local, state, or when the national rates change. Normally that happens on January 1st, so it's good to check that around the beginning of the year, like right now. But sometimes it's during the year, like mid-year too. It depends on the political cycles in that area. But as you're running a business, the 2 biggest expenses you will have is people and rent. And so, if you keep a good watch on those, control them, use both efficiently. Don't have a big, extravagant, expensive store in the nicest shopping center in town, and have like a 10-to-1 employee to customer ratio in your store, because you'll go out of business. You can't afford that. So you need enough employees to keep it going and take good care of the customers that do come in. Provide good customer service and everything, but not too many. So it's a tough juggling act for businesses to undergo. But those are your 2 biggest expenses, rent and labor. And so this is all talking about the labor part and how you divide that up, and you want to have good employees. You want to keep them. You want to keep them motivated. And so anytime you have turnover and you have to replace employees, that costs extra money. So you want to try and minimize that as much as possible. I have a note on here, sometimes people come in the store and with us especially, they'll want to know on a trade-in, well, if a game's worth $100, and well, I should get 80% of that, right, or 70% of that, and we talked about this earlier on the show with trade-in values, and that's not really the case because so much overhead goes into having any kind of retail store. I mean, just think like the absolute lowest paid worker at Game Over is making $12 an hour, and to do an average trade-in, to evaluate the stuff, lay it out on the counter, test the systems and stuff that needs to be tested, add everything up, take it in, then we've got to clean it, bag it, process it, enter it into the computer, put a price tag on it, put it on the shelf. All that takes more than an hour, right? It probably takes a couple of hours. On a large trade-in, it might take a day to absorb a huge, hundreds of games and then get them all, priced and cleaned and put back out for sale. And so we may be out $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 just in the labor before that even hits the floor. So that's where all that big money goes that people think we make on trade-ins. It's rent and labor. It's most of where our money goes. So anyway, but just kind of put that in perspective with what people make, and sometimes people don't realize that even if it's just a handful of games or whatever that takes an hour to process, well, we're already out $12. So if we're paying you $20 for a handful of games or whatever, like we've already lost over half of that by just having the employee clean it for 1 hour. So it goes fast. Anyway, the profits on trade-ins are never as high as some people think they are. But in summary, for employee pay, you want to be picky when you hire. Do a lot of interviews. Talk to a lot of people. Be really sure and really confident that you're getting, not just like in our case, everybody that comes in likes video games. So we don't want to hire people that just like video games. We know you all like video games, but we want to hire people that like video games and like customer service and that like retail and that are organized and into merchandising and will refurb and clean a Nintendo and not come in and not want to get their hands dirty doing that kind of stuff. So be picky when you hire, and when you find better employees, they will work harder, they will stay with you longer, and they'll be more happy in the environment. You want to pay as well as you can, and like I talked about our pay rates, and for retail, it's sure it's not tons of money that people make working at Game Over. It's comparable to other retail stores in Texas or Washington. So it's not that people make a lot of money, but it is a job that's fun, that's rewarding, and we do try and be as fair in compensation and in treatment and environment, as anybody. So I think it is a fun place to work, and we definitely have a lot of employees that have been here for years and years, that just really enjoy it and do a great job. Also, review everyone annually. It's really an important step, and if you're a small business, I get it because I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done every day, every week too, and things get undone on my desk all the time because there's just not enough time, not enough manpower. But you really need to take the time to do the employee reviews. It's very important. It gives people a reward with a pay raise, so they get a pay bump every year up, and I think that's really important because clearly we're in a time of inflation. Costs are going up every year. Employees need to make more every year. That's the way that works. And so that part's important, but it's also equally important that they get the feedback. And it's not just like, here's a little more money because it's a new year. It's like, here's some more money, and here's why we're giving you that particular amount of money. And this is things that you did great, and we want to thank you for those. But here's some things that you didn't do quite as well, or at least as well as maybe some of your peers. And these are things that we'd like you to work on. And if you do, the next review, there'll be even more money because then you'll get, higher scores in those areas. So anyway, you give annual reviews. Those are very important. So be picky when you hire good people, make the job as fun and rewarding as you can, and then do annual reviews and try and reward your workers as much as possible. We also offer, at least with the full-time managers and stuff, we do, benefits, we do employee discounts for everybody, we do paid time off. We do bonuses. So all the managers, you have sales targets, and if you hit the bonuses, you get even, extra bonus money every month for that. So there's all kinds of additional perks, that we do too that maybe don't happen in a lot of other retail type jobs. But we try and make it as fun and rewarding as it can be, but also constantly be grooming employees to enjoy the job and improve at their job and want to be there long term. So that is my boss battle with pay raises, pay rates, and employee reviews. And this is the time of year. Most businesses do that December and January. With a new year, that's a good time to do it. So just put it on your calendar right now for December of 2022. Do some employee reviews. All right, so that's it for that. And let's see. Now we're going to move on to the bonus level with fan feedback. And we're back with the bonus level, fan feedback, my favorite part of the show, where you and I get to talk and express opinions and share in our joy of retro gaming. So, what kind of comments have we had in the past week? Several things on the YouTube stream and some of the Facebook comments. Very positive overall, so thank you for that. All the good job, great video, awesome, all that kind of stuff. So thank all of you at once. Just thank you guys for that kind of feedback. I love that. Let's see, comments on the new Houston store. So I posted this to my personal social media pages, and if you know me, you know that I don't use social media much. I probably log into Facebook twice a week, maybe 3 times, and spend about 10, 15 minutes on there before I just about lose my mind. But I posted pictures of hey, here's the new Houston store when I was down there working a few days ago. And everybody's like, oh my God, new store, where is it and everything? And I told them where it was, and they're like, isn't there another store there? And so I had to explain to everybody, yes, it's a new store because it's new construction and it's new setup, and I'm having to go down there and do all this stuff. We're gonna put the signs in and merchandise it again and everything, but it really is, it's a relocation. And so I'm sorry to all you guys that that I didn't put relocation. I just put the new store in Houston. But yeah, we're not gonna have 2 stores in the same shopping center. So the first one is gonna close and shift over to the new one. But anyway, it was amazing because I don't use Facebook that much. When I did something, I got so much feedback right away. I'm like, wow, look at all those comments. But then they're all like, where's the new store? And I'm like, oh, well, they think it's store number 4 in Houston, and it's really not. It's just store number 1 shifted over. So it's it's a 2.0 of the first Houston store. So anyway, it's not a new store, but new location. It's gonna look awesome, brand new. Just having new paint, new layout, new floors. It's got that new store smell. It's going to be lovely. So that opens Saturday, January 15th. I will be there personally at 11 o'clock. So if you guys are in Houston, mask up, come visit, say hello, and check it out. If you haven't been to the Central Houston store in a while, it's a good time to revisit and check us out. It is smaller, so be ready for that. But it's a better fit for us. It's more of a, I don't want to say GameStop-like, but it's a more game store, setup. Some of our stores are... most of our stores actually are much bigger than your average GameStop, but in this case, this store was very big, and it had a whole back area for tournaments that now we do at a different Houston store, so we don't really need that space. It had this whole room for the museum and the art gallery and everything, and we still have those features. So the new store will have the gallery and have the what did I say? The art gallery and the museum. They're still there. They're just in the back of what looks like more of a regular shaped store. So anyway, but thank you for the feedback on that. I do love all the positive comments and everybody excited about checking out the new store. So we hope to see you there soon. If not Saturday, then I'm not there every day, but definitely come check it out whenever it's convenient for you. So our friend Leptonics likes the new boxes on the background. So there they are. So I'm glad somebody noticed and appreciates that. So I'll try and change that up maybe each season, or maybe even mid-season. Who knows? I'll throw something up there different just to see if you notice sometime. And he also talked about GoldenEye on N64. We mentioned that on the show last week, and he was reminding me that the GoldenEye was $79.99 when it came out. We think that for eons that video games have been $50. Pretty much even from the Atari days, games were $40-$50, and then all the way up through everything. But in the middle there, in the 90s, there was I want to say I think Earthbound was $100, right? Because it came with that strat guide and everything.
Especially N64 games, normally were $60 to $70.
Yeah.
Because the cartridges were so expensive.
Because cartridges were expensive.
Yeah.
By that point, everybody went with CD with Saturn and PS1, and so Nintendo was doing cartridges, and they're like, "I'm sorry, it's $100, but that's what a cartridge costs these days." Yeah. So I don't know. It's really amazing that we can do carts again with the Switch, but I guess it's just such a small cart, and it's cheap enough that they can do that and still sell it for what's a normal new video game price. But anyway, back then there were a few games. GoldenEye was high. I think Street Fighter 2 was high. Earthbound was high. I want to say Chrono Trigger 2 was even high back then for like a, for a Super Nintendo game. It wasn't 50. I think it was like 60 or 70 bucks. But anyway, yeah, there were a few exceptions to the all games are $50 rule back then. So he remembers waiting in line to buy GoldenEye, so that's pretty cool. He says yes on having arcade one-ups at Game Over stores, so I don't know. We'll see what we can do. But still, I guess, giving that some thought. And there's some other ones out there, too. So there's some other cool arcades we might look into. Let's see. Vinyl records. He says his parents had Pac-Man fever. And I have a copy of Pac-Man fever somewhere. Like, I have a framed copy, which is really cool. So, yeah, that was a cool record to have. And vinyl, it is so strange that, like, vinyl is the popular format now for music again. And CDs and DVDs are kind of like, eh. So, oh well. He says also, let's see, those doubles and triples on Dr. Mario, the 2-player, that he would play with his wife, and she would not like that. And I had the same problem. So I was trying to talk about it on the show when I was playing Dr. Mario last week, but it just really doesn't do it justice. When you play somebody 2-player and one of you is better at the game, and you can do those 2 at a time, 3 at a time, even 4 at a time sometimes. When you do that, it drops 1, 2, 3, or 4 other pieces down on the other person's, and it really screws them up. And so, yeah, I did a long time ago used to play Dr. Mario with my wife too, and she was actually really good at it. But whenever I would do the multiples, she was like, "No, I'm out. Like I'm tired of you, messing up my side of the board." Okay. And he's looking forward to the Houston Move videos. So I hope you enjoyed part 1 of those on this show, and look forward to part 2 on the next show for the Houston videos. Larry, our good friend Larry, commented on there. He loves me in the shout-outs. Love you too, man. So he talks about we're both still plenty young because we're both in our 40s. And he says baldness makes me look distinguished. So I think I love Larry. Sorry, Veronica. We're going to have to share him. But yeah, so I don't know about distinguished, but okay. He also suggests I could shave my beard to look younger. So no, Dan's saying no.
Now, I'm biased.
Yeah, well, Dan has a beard. I have a beard. I've had this for a long time, and I do shave it occasionally, just kind of for fun or to see what my face actually looks like these days. But I haven't shaved it in a while, so I don't know. Maybe someday on a future show when I'm feeling especially old and scraggly, I'll do that to see what kind of spry, youthful look I have on my actual face underneath. Let's see. He remembers when we had arcades at the stores, and we did have arcades at most of our stores. Maybe not all of them, but most of our stores did have at least a couple stand-up full-size arcades in there. Years ago. It's been a long time ago that we had those, but we had problems because, as you might imagine, we had them on free play, and we would have loiterers that would come in and literally just stand there all day playing the free arcade, using our bathroom and playing the arcade and it's cool when people come hang out in the store and like talk to us, for a while. When you hang out all day, that pushes the friendship a little bit, and that becomes hard to kind of take. And plus, with the employees, it distracts them, because they're supposed to be like cleaning games and merchandising and stuff like that. And sometimes we'd be like, "Well, what have y'all done all day?" And they're like, "Well, this guy was in playing the arcade all day and chatting us up." And we're like, "Well, you can't talk all day. You got to do some other stuff too." But anyway, and then just the upkeep of them. None of us really know how to fix arcades, and so they were constantly getting broken. Parents would come in and not watch their kids, and they would, just jam the buttons and the joysticks and break them. And so it was a very expensive accessory for the store, for something that we didn't sell or even make. We didn't even make the quarter off of them. We made no money off of them. And so it was just kind of a money pit. So we had to, as they got broken, we slowly took them away, and then they eventually all got broken and taken away. So we don't have them anymore. But maybe we'll look into that, selling some of the newfangled arcade one-ups or the other kind of arcade machines that are coming down the market. So that'd be something.
Will you take one in trade? Like if somebody trades one in, would you take it?
Do we take trade-ins on arcades?
Not like an actual cabinet. You probably wouldn't take that. But like a one-up, would you take a one-up?
We'd be open to anything video game related on trades. Even if you had like a kiosk from a store. Like we've had kiosks from a store before. And we have bought arcades in the store before.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I take that back. At least once I know we bought an arcade from somebody in the store. Somebody's like, yeah, I got one, you want it? And we made a deal and bought it.
Cool. Sweet.
But the store staff is probably going to have to like get with me on pricing.
Yeah.
So you might want to just let them know and then talk to me. But the thing is, like with arcades, because we don't fix them, it'd be hard for us to like refurbish and resell them. It would have to be in great working shape to start with, or we wouldn't be able to really take it in because they're just too big and too much of a hassle otherwise. And some of our stores aren't big enough. Even back in the day, they weren't big enough to have a bunch of arcades in there. So anyway,
We used to have some machines.
we used to in some of the stores, but not every store.
This store did.
This store did.
Yeah, not now.
Because this store used to be, huge.
Yeah.
But even now, this store, I don't know if we'd really have that much room for it. We could put maybe one or two, but anyway, yeah. So anything like that. I mean, our stores buy anything video game related, and so if it's video game related, definitely ask us about it. But arcades are generally outside the norm of what we would buy. But I won't say no. That it's never going to happen. Let's see. Also, Larry suggested a Double Dragon on the NES and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo on PS1 as games that I could try on the show. So maybe we'll do those on one of the future shows. And he says, keep making more kick-ass videos. So I will do that for you. More kick-ass videos on the way. Yeah, that's pretty much it on the feedback. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching the show, coming into this new season with us in 2022. Hopefully we'll have, a full year of awesome shows and great content on this channel, and give some life to the Game Over YouTube page. So definitely go to youtube.com/GameOverVideoGames. Watch these shows, watch other videos. We've got some cool old commercials and just some random old stuff on there if you poke around on our channel. Some cool stuff. So check it out. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button on there. But thank you seriously for watching the show, for listening on the podcast streams, for supporting us in our stores, for coming in to shop, coming in to talk, just helping us to be a part of your life, for these past 16 years. It's really been great. So thank you for all the business and support. Remember that we are off next week, so no show next week. You have to watch the old ones or some of our old commercials or something for entertainment next week, or just play some classic games. But we'll be back around the 27th or 28th, that Thursday or Friday near the end of the month, with the next show, and that'll be part 2 of the new Houston location. We'll do some videos in there that we'll show, and be back with all the other regular stuff of Game Overcast. So thank you for watching. If you want to reach out to me, you can email podcast@gameovervideogames.com, or you can just comment on the YouTube channel or on the streams. And that's it. That's it for the show. So have a great week, everyone. Play some retro games when you can. Enjoy next week when we're off, and we'll see you soon. Game over. Is there a pen over there? Can you throw me the pen on that? There's one on that desk by the big stack of white paper and all the coupons that say Game Over. Somewhere there's a blue pen. Jesus Christ. It's so dark in here, like, I couldn't see it.
Right in the neck, I think. Is there blood? Are you okay?
Ah! All right, hang on. Did it leave a mark? Did it leave a mark? Oh.
You just got done with surgery, too. Damn.
Yeah. Don't ruin the good ear.
Are you awake now?
No.
You want to go back to bed now?
Yes. Oh, man. All right. In other news, I've lost both ears now.